C.S. Lewis is a great and outstanding theologian in his time, in which, in this case, he tried to destroy the theory and idea of scientism. Today, I created a concept map on how did C.S. Lewis contradicted and criticized the idea of scientism and help us learn what are the important things that C.S. Lewis came up in order for him to actually know that scientism is something that us human beings must not follow and obey. Scientism was like magic for him. Things that we thought are not possible became possible because of science. And there are actually three ways that Lewis depicted how science and magic were actually related. It is not surprising for us to see some theologists, philosophers, and ideologists to contradict some of the theories and ideas of other people. We human beings were born that way. We are very much engineered to think deeply and precisely, much more than we know. We humans are created to develop our knowledge about things that surrounds us and think more about our society rather than ourselves. In which, in our case, the government and politics are the ones that control our society. But the idea of scientism wanted to change that. According to the concept of that I created, scientism was used as a power. Science wants to alter the lives of human beings into different paths. Paths that are much focused to science itself rather than the morality and ethics of us human beings. In which C.S. Lewis was very skeptical about. According to him, he was not against science, but he was against the idea of using science for authority and administrating every part of our world society. That was something that even us humans do not want to happen. Sure, it will solve the problems that our society have been stayed longingly for the past centuries, but it will create more problems that even science cannot solve. Science is something more on technological perspective rather than in a view and mindset of something moral and ethical. Scientism is also depicted the idea of using science as a religion. Again, looking in the concept map that I have created, C.S. Lewis was very much not into the idea that scientism wants to make science as a religion. For the past few centuries, religion can sometimes destroy human beings and human civilizations. World wars, terrorism, and even dictatorships of some leaders in countries such as Germany and Japan are caused by bad knowledge about religion. Religion was something that can guide your provisions and ideas in ethical and moral ways. It is something that will give us the sense of wisdom and hope on how we want to live our lives. Science cannot provide that because, as I told earlier, science is something that is more technical rather than ethical. Scientism basically wants to provide a humanity that is doing away with traditional ethics and traditional restraints. We cannot do that because it will create a massive havoc to our society. The last idea that C.S. Lewis taught about scientism is scientism uses science as credulity. It is fascinating for Lewis that for a human being, scientism can be sometimes make humans think that it can actually benefit and work due to its idea of approach on how things can be solved through the power of science. It had a flawless idea up until Lewis contradicted it. Researchers during those period of time were experimenting its basis and make things work with the idea of science holding all of human civilization together into a one unit. Even though science can sometimes lack evidences on how things actually work, people always think science is just straight up hard facts, which is actually true, but it is bad for us to think that way. It can alter our very minds on how we think about things, and sometimes science is dangerous. If we do not put morality and ethics first in the name of science, we can be dangerous. And this actually have been proven from the past scenarios such as inventing of nuclear bombs and dangerous weapons that can easily eradicate human beings with one single blow. Scientism can make people believe that science is something that we can trust and we think we can depend our lives with. We need to think that science is only a tool for us to develop ourselves and create a better future for the next generations to come. Science is not religion, science is not credulity, and science is not power. Science is much greater than that. Science can help us to eradicate the problems that our society is facing if we use it properly. Knowledge is always power, and what I mean by knowledge is having to understand the moral values in our lives and let it guide us for the things that we do in life, especially with science. That is how we can make our lives much more easier for the years to come. That's all. Thank you.